Hello and welcome back to the DIF. This is week 3, our penultimate day. My name's Sophie and I'm going to introduce you to our lovely speakers, Luis and Mateus from Sao Paulo. And this session will be about how to overcome chaos and the lessons we can learn about that from Brazil. This is going to be a very interesting discussion about some designers and consultants who have a fantastic idea about how to really teach the global innovation community about a couple of lessons and a couple of experiences and examples we've seen in Brazil. And with that, I would like to hand over to Luis and Mateus. Welcome. Please feel free to ask questions on the website, engage with our two speakers who are going to also take any questions up in around 20 to 30 minutes for everyone to answer.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Sophie, thank you for the intro. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Luis Felipe, but you all can call me Jimmy, is my nickname, almost my name. And I'm co-founder and partner at Handmade, UX consultants here in Brazil, in São Paulo. And Mateus is a friend of mine that works here with us. And please introduce you.
I'm Mateus. I'm a strategist and service designer here at Handmade. And we have a couple of lovely Brazilian ideas to share with you guys this afternoon. Thanks for watching.
And so we're gonna talk about a little bit of what we're seeing here in Brazil and what is different from the other countries or other cultures. And first of all, I'd like to apologize because I'm here with some annotations and my English is not that good, but I'm trying, and sorry, by the way. So here we go. In all the world now, we are stuck in the middle of a very chaotic moment. Here in Brazil, and especially in Brazil, it's not different. We're gonna talk about some innovative ideas, but here in Brazil, we are living a conservative arousal in the middle of political and economic crisis. These are some recent events here from Brazil, just for you know a little about our context now. Public opinion has been intensely attacking some museums and brands that have been promoting LGBT content and exhibitions. Today, our most activity lawmaking groups are religious, fundamentalists, landowners, and military people. And just to know, the context that we are in this moment is
why we need new ideas. That's why we need fresh ideas. That's because we have seen conservative ideas arising everywhere. So it's time to think about something fresh, something new to bring us new horizons.
Really. A few days ago, Caetano Veloso, a great Brazilian musician and a symbol of Brazilian counterculture, has been forbidden to make a concert inside the homeless occupation here in São Paulo, clearly a sign of censorship. Some of our governors and politicians have been arrested recently. The president of Brazilian Olympic Committee was found with illegal gold bars, jewelry, and foreign money inside his house. In this moment, we like to say we really want to show true empathy to all those under Trump administration and other nonsense and retrograde governments. So today we'll deliver you some fresh new ideas ideas that can help us to change this chaotic scenario. Ideas rooted in one of the most prolific and creative traditions of the world. But how is this creative culture blends to other global scenarios we have? Every week we see investments and talent people and Brazilians flying away from here. And to know a little more about that, we did a quick research with some Brazilians who are living and working outside Brazil to understand some of their motivations, and we found something really interesting.
Sophie, if you can show the guys our screen here that have some quotes. Why our talent flies away? We talked to some friends, some creative people and designers who are living outside of Brazil and working to foreign companies outside here. And there is a balance between searching for a better life, for a quality of life, for a life-work balance, and curiosity. People that want to go to the headquarters of great companies where they work for, people that want to go to the big cities where design and strategy are disciplines more mature, and there is a market that a digital market, a design market more developed, and the curiosity to get to know other places, to get to know other people. I just can imagine what Beto, our friend who's in New York, means by saying that he's meeting with lots of strange and different people in the streets, people from all over the world. So this is quite attractive as well. And if you can just show the other slide, Sophie, our talent delivers something there too. These guys showed us that Brazilians can take a broader vision of the projects they are in because we have a richer and versatile visual language. We have different disciplines under our hats. We can go beyond our job descriptions. We have a multidisciplinary, non-linear thinking. The way we deal with different people makes a difference, as Maria said to us. And flexibility is also a value that we can deliver inside design and creative projects, because we are rooted in a tradition of resilience. We have the ability to work under pressure and keep a good mood under these conditions. And we have the ability to improvise in situations of pressure. And all this takes us to doing everything in less time and sometimes with a better quality. And that's not just a saying. In the next slide, you can see the result of a very wide research made by Boyden, which is a global HR consultancy, a high-profile HR consultancy that says that Brazilian executives that go abroad have been forced to grow and adapt in extraordinary economic circumstances. Our tax-paying laws are very complicated. It's very complicated, the process for hiring people here in Brazil. It's very usual for us to work with less resources than what we would actually need to make some project or some stuff. So it brings us experience, it brings us adaptability, and it brings us flexibility. It helps us to get more fast and more creative. And that has some reasons as well, as you can see in the next slide, which is a painting.
So where does flexibility come from? This painting you're seeing is a painting by Tarsila do Amaral, a great Brazilian painter. Shows very well how Brazil is formed by an incredible diversity of people, and is just this diversity that makes this innovation possible. Talking about our first idea, from the single thought to universal conscience. Milton Santos was one of the greatest intellectuals on globalization in Brazil and even in the world. In 1994, he won the Walter Lud Prize. That's like a kind of a Nobel Prize in geography. In fact, He was the first geographer outside the Anglo-Saxon world to achieve this, and so he was very important. Milton Santos brought us a hard truth about the globalization. While all the world is repeating the fable, the world is in the palm of your hands. The fact is, globalization is a perverse, unequal, and competitive landscape. The greatest example of this is the immigration crisis that is happening now, including a large number of countries all over the planet. His new perspective is more humane globalization, a new history built with techniques usually used only by giant companies all over the world, mixing different points of view, not only European or American philosophy. And besides all that, popular access to media and technology that that let all this happen together.
So to name a few examples, here in Brazil it's very common that we see all kinds of people producing content with $50 smartphones, with dual chip, good enough cameras that allow the common people to experience and produce content and to consume content and to make universality really happen. That's not the globalization as a movement made by just the big corporations and governments, but when people have technology tools in their hands, they're able to participate in that. They're able to produce content in that. What else was exclusive to TV, to Hollywood and mass media, now is in the hands of millions. And if you watch this video we're showing there, you can see an example of popular culture emergence. It's very common here in Brazil that when you see a bunch of kids, youngsters, and they are making passinhos, which are small steps, small dance steps, and they are just showing off their swag. They're just showing off how they have fun, how they dance, and it goes off through YouTube, it goes off through WhatsApp, it goes off through Twitter. That's popular culture emergence through technology tools that now are available for anyone. In the next slide, we can talk about a project we are running now, that in which we are helping family farmers to reach for global markets. We have been to Santa Rita, which is a city in the Minas Gerais state, and they have lots of families that produce great quality coffee, but they are very low income producers because these small farmers depend on middlemen to take their products to the world. So we are now trying to make a digital and technology ecosystem. So these guys, these farmers are able to reach the global markets and get the income that their products are actually available. So we are trying to build this new kind of history that Milton talked about. The next slide, you can see our team working with the farmers inside their farms. We took design thinking and design sprint techniques that are usually used by Google, by Facebook, by Apple, by IBM, by Volkswagen, by all the big companies, to the small producers as well. So we got a very nice variety of people. If you see in the next slide, we had, I was there as a strategist, Jimmy as a designer, but we were developing the ideas and the strategy with the farmers in the table. And we had a very special guest in this activity that is an artificial intelligence researcher, which is a son of one of the farmers. So we had a very comprehensive way to see the challenges we were dealing with, and this is a way we see we can start to building new histories. And in the next slide, we just bring one of the examples. we had a very deep understanding of the user scenarios. These two cartoons you see are the user personas we defined for the work. And we defined them after when we were visiting one of the farmers, and their neighbors, they started to scream from their other farms, "Hey, Joe, you're famous. People from São Paulo are in your farm." So we got to understand the very suspicious, countrified, rustic environment in which they are. And then we developed a strategy that we use the Joes that are more courageous, the Joes that are more eager for innovation, the Joes that are more eager to go outside for markets, to influence the guys that are screaming in their trenches, the guys that are in other farms, just seeing if someone can bring something new to this very suspicious environment. And that was a very basic foundation for all of the strategy we designed. And this can only be achieved by working together, by being inside the environment and bringing all these different points of view with techniques that used to be owned only by corporations to other scenarios. And if you go to this link we are showing here, bit.ly/handmade-DIF, you can see a bunch of stuff about what we are presenting, and the link for you to know the project and the coffee farmers we just cited.
So the second idea we like to
Sorry
show.
to interrupt. I have a quick question.
Okay.
Just out of possibly my own interest. What do you mean by design sprint techniques? You just shown some really interesting pictures of design sprint, and you mentioned Google is also doing it. Like what is it? Did I miss something?
Design sprint is a technique developed at Google Ventures headquarters, aimed at developing and testing ideas in 5 days. You basically gather a multidisciplinary team for one specific challenge, and this multidisciplinary team explores the challenge, explores the personas and the users that are going to be aimed with the solution, sketch new ideas, and develop small tests for these solutions. So we have passed 1 week inside the farms, developing new solutions with the farmers and testing with them along. And so you can see some of this work in the link we've just passed. But the main idea is that we can break barriers in the age we are living. We can take this awesome ideas on how to foster innovation, on how to create many innovative ideas quickly, and take it to those who need some new perspectives. Their challenge is to escape the middleman. But there are plenty of challenges anywhere we go that could be settled or at least bring new solutions to the table using techniques that we use for corporations almost every day.
And can you? This is extremely. I mean, this is just something that I can actually imagine because you've just shown it in the picture as well. But what happens if this is actually being done on a bigger scale? Brazil is big, and that's unimaginable that this can happen with every farmer. How can you make sure that this happens in other places, not just where you are?
Speaking for myself, I believe in in that revolutions are made by millions of small attitudes. We are making our small steps here, and we are going to the DIF so we can maybe try to gather other people to make these small steps as well. So Brazil is very big. It's like you travel through 10, 20 different countries inside here. And we have this partnership, one partnership with people from one region, and we can see how this is impacting their lives. And we hope we can maybe take this message to be contagious and bring other designers, other entrepreneurs to take these steps, to try to solve some problems. And if everybody makes a part, we can see real change, I guess.
All right. Thanks very much for that small interruption and answering my questions. I will continue showing the presentation if you like to, or the pictures rather.
Okay, okay. Show the slide, and Jimmy will follow along.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the second idea is from Ricardo Semler, a businessman who said, people don't need to hate their jobs. Managers don't need to control their teams. Ricardo is the son of a Brazilian industrialist from a very rich family who took control of the company when he was only 21 years old, so very young. At the same time that he was a guitarist of a rock band. So the company was in the middle of a crisis for the almost decreasing naval industry in Brazil in the early 80s. He pulled down all the great truths of the industry at that time, pushing the model of participatory management and fighting against the autocratic model that time. For example, employees were given the opportunity to endorse or veto every item of expenditure of the company. So that was something totally new for that time in the 80s. He gave each person the opportunity to set up their own work schedule, creating different ways to be productive. He said sometime, keep honest. Let's devolve, quote, let's devolve to these people, let's give these people a company where we take away all the boarding school aspects of. This is when you arrive, this is how you dress, this is how you go to meeting, this is how you say, this is what you don't say, and let's see what's happening further, and let's see what's left. The results of these experiments was in 1982. The company value
the annual income of the company
was $44 million, and in 2003, sorry, was $212 million. So
the company grew 50 times their income in 20 years by fostering an innovative and open environment.
So what's the message here? Our invitation to you is bring people to the table like we did in Santa Rita do Sapucaí in our coffee project. Bring people to the table and support their development.
Very simple, immediate ways to apply these learnings, and we are saying things that we actually do here at our office, at our studio in Handmade. Every worker here has an annual fee for education in the scale of a month's salary. So people just chooses books and educational projects and courses and lessons they want to take, and the company pays it in the scale of a month's salary. And we have a very special process here, that is the project review meeting. The whole company, after every month and a half, when we end projects, we review every aspect of a concluded project. In the front of the owner of the company, we go from technical aspects to personal impressions. How do you think this solution could be better took? How do you think that we could make better decisions? And how did you feel about the way we worked? And this is a very participatory process that has brought to us a very fast-paced evolution to our model of working. So that's a real invitation for you guys who are watching us to think about bringing people after the work is done to the same table to discuss and to say, to prepare to the next works, prepare to the next projects and challenges, learning from the past projects, learning from what was good, what was not, and what made you feel good, what made you feel bad, and try to improve the work environment from every delivered project.
Side by side, step by step. So the next idea is about Darcy Ribeiro, that use the resources you have to take the most important products out of paper to reality. Darcy Ribeiro was an anthropologist, writer, and politician here in Brazil that became very famous for your work with education. He lived the great angst of those who know Brazil too well. It's seeing our people deprived of education, culture, art, and proper feeding. To show his position, Darcy said, in Latin America, we have two options, resignation or indignation, and I'm never resignating. So
what he did was, he assumed as vice governor of Rio in 1983. And as you can see in the slide, Brazil in 1983 was no such a friendly environment. People were demonstrating in the streets, people were looting markets, people were invading São Paulo governor's house for hunger, for joblessness. And Darcy got to be elected as vice governor of Rio at the side of the governor Brizola. And he had to make something. He was moved by education. And what he did, Rio's Carnival Parade, I think some of you might have known of that, are very famous. And the Sambadrome, the place where the schools, the Samba schools march, is a major part of the city's architecture. But how Darcy was made to build that is a very singular story that we'd like to tell you. Every year until 1983, the stands started to be mounted in September to receive the party only in February. And it spent millions and millions and millions of dollars every year. And during these chaotic times when people were in hunger. And so what they thought, in the words of Oscar Niemeyer, which was the architect of the project, and you can see a picture of Darcy and Oscar at the screen right now. Darcy transformed the catwalk, the place where the parades take place, into a cultural and artistic complex. What they did together, they built 4 schools under the stands for the Carnival Parade. They built the Sambadrome, but the Sambadrome is used during a holiday a year. During the whole year, the infrastructure offers daycare, offers adult education, offers schools for children in 260 classrooms for more than 1,000 students. And they made it in 110 days, less than 4 months. Oscar Niemeyer had a very prolific work using prefabricated concrete structures, which he partnered with engineer Susekind, was the responsible for engineering this work, and they got to do this. So they took the opportunity of making a place for parties and transformed it into a new school infrastructure that could be used permanently, an education solution for the city. So integral education for a whole day education is unusual in Brazil. So they could use the money and the funding and the buy-in they had for making an arrangement in the city for the carnival to offer 3 meals a day, cultural activities, and sport facilities to children in Rio. And here you can see some of the pictures. At the left is the Samba Drome, and there is Darcy with students, and one picture of one of the schools Darcy and Niemeyer created together.
Sophie, want to say something?
Yes, I'm actually interested to hear more about, maybe I missed it, how this was financed, or what would be another step to get the financing right, how to raise awareness about this with normal investors even.
Carnival is a money-making machine, so they had the opportunity to they raised the number of seats in the Samba Drome. When they were mounted and dismounted, they had like 1/3 of the seats that were available after the construction of the new Samba Drome. So when they started this work in September, October, by the end of February, when the parades were concluded, they had the money to finance at least a great part of it.
Okay, that was me jumping in. Thanks very much. Go back.
So we want to do an invitation to you right now to start small every time. Start small, use the resources you have to improve investments as you go. Just don't wait for the perfect conditions to do what has to be done, because the perfect conditions never comes. Here at Handmade, we use a simple framework to quick start any project or product with a very small risk. This framework is like an inverted funnel where you, at the time you are starting the product, you just put a little amount of money to validate your idea or your concept and so on. This framework you're seeing works similar to seed funding rounds for startups, well known at San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and etc. Each period of time, you analyze the previous results and decide if you want to go to the next step and put some more money on this idea or this product and etc. This framework is excellent to overcome uncertainties and prove the value of more aggressive innovation. It's very good to create something really new with low risk. The last one, the last idea, the last innovation we want to show you is about Paulo César Pinheiro. He is the most prolific composer known in the world. He recorded more than 2,000 songs until now, and counting, by the way, besides theater scripts, movie soundtracks, poetry, romances, and etc. He is illustrious yet unknown that pardon some of the greatest musicians in Brazilian history. He created some of the most important popular songs against the military government in 80s here in Brazil, and some of the most famous Brazilian popular music of all the time.
There is a playlist in the link we showed you, the beat.ly.
A great playlist, by the way. So he never put his focus on the spotlight. On the other hand, every day he puts a white sheet of paper in front of him and starts creating and so on. just staying outside the spotlights and near to real life, to real problems, he found a way to keep himself into a highly productive and profound creative life. The real life bakeries, bars, city streets, newspapers, and etc. are enough material for one who focuses on his own work.
And how does it inspire us? And what does it bring to us for our design activity? First thing is that we try to bring designers out of the studio all of the time. We try to break the studio culture where we are here with some very nice furniture and post-it notes, and to go away, to merge into the researchers' work. We have researchers that work in every project with us, but we try to bring this responsibility to the designers as well, to get to know and walk the steps of the users. Second thing is that we try to leverage all the possible innovation from the inspiration we got. We have developed constantly new techniques to prioritize ideas, to select ideas, to improve ideas. But all of our work is based on prolific production of ideas. We usually will fill up a whole wall with ideas when inside a project. For after we have this big amount of ideas to select the ones that are better, and we are developing upon her. This is an inspiration for us as well to prioritize new business. And when we are making new business, we try to bring new user scenarios. We try to make new industries to come inside our house. We try to go into the lives of different people. So I'm going to show you 4 quick examples of the last year on how we have been going to very different user scenarios, and our invitation for you is to go as well. If you have 5 e-commerces as your clients, try to find a food store as your client. If you have a bank as your client, try to find a school as your client. If you have a school as your client, try to find the e-commerce. That will help you to bring more ideas to the table. That will help you to get a more prolific production inside your creative business. So here you can see some elementary school students interacting with one solution we created, again for extracurricular learning. In the next slide, you can see our team interacting with the coffee farmers, familiar agriculture farmers, developing the platform for reaching global and national markets that we have just said to you. In the next slide, you can see us talking and watching Miss Margaret, a very endearing user. We had turned it into a persona of one of our projects that helped us to understand how low-income families deal with financial problems, how these families that are led by women, that are structured by strong women, fight their financial struggles. And we were able to develop the product for a fintech that is focused on this unbanked population, to develop solutions for this kind of public. And the last example is when we went to know these guys that are on the screen, that are they have a sound system that plays dub and samba. They play reggae and they play Brazilian music in the streets of the slums of São Paulo. They are young, independent, cultural activists that we went to get to know, so we could design a better content platform focused in urban youth empowerment, which is one of our clients. So if we make the right efforts, if we get to bring into the house different clients, different projects, different points of view and challenges, we are able to keep as prolific or at least inspired by the prolific production of Paulo César Pinheiro.
So the conclusion of all of this, of course, is always all about people. So we have to have a more broader perspective, and also a more flexibility in all products and projects that we are involved in any time. A broader perspective means we have to learn fast. You have to learn fast about everything, about your client, about your user, about your company you're working for, about your marketing. So learn fast, and after change fast. Change fast means you have to do the decision making more fast, uh, putting on the table all the personas and all the people involved in the project, like we did in all projects we showed you, to learn fast and change fast. So change fast don't mean you have to hurry. It's not hurry. We have to foster culture and environment. Learn fast, change fast, and all the rest is consequence of all of this.
Thanks very much, Mateus and Louis. I think what I took away mostly from the last 4 examples, and that's something I would like to direct back to you as a question. So
Okay.
you've actually done the fintech side of things. You've actually been able to provide a platform. How do you if you do an interdisciplinary approach, the way you're doing it with different clients, you know, you're saying if you have a banking client, you should get a school client as well. How do you cope with that much diversity, and how many people are you to get enough insight into, you know, into your clients' base and into the topics they're involved in?
Every project we start from scratch with qualitative research and the immersion of all areas that work at Handmade. We have at Handmade strategy professionals, design professionals, business intelligence professionals, researchers, copywriters, and visual artists. And all these people go to study the challenge from their point of view, and we upside it, we build a brand new qualitative research. We go for primary information.
So pretty much what we see right now on the video, right? Is this kind of what we, oh wow, okay. So this is great, because I was
one of the researchers that work with us. And look, you can see Miss Margaret interacting with Claudia, testing our app, testing the solutions we built. And this is a very important step as well. We usually work in 4 to 5 weeks long projects. In this 4 to 5 week long project, we make 2 rounds of research. We start with qualitative research, then we make usability tests after the design sprint. After we generate the ideas, like we said when you asked us at first, we build the solutions in a very high level way, and we take it to the streets, we take it to Miss Margaret, we take it to the young cultural people, and let them say, let them tell us if it works or not, if they desire it or not, if it makes sense for them. So we can.
Where do you see this going in 5 years? Sorry to interrupt, but how do you see this developing in other companies? You know, not just with Handmade, but is there more of this ecosystem developing in Brazil right now?
I think that we are reframing the way that business is made and reframing the way that design is made. When I say we, I mean our generation, not Handmade, but Handmade is a part of it. We have been used to great structures. We have been used to being 10 years, 15 years, 20 years inside the same company. We have been used to working in one company with one challenge, and every day you go and see them make the same thing. We are going beyond that. As Milton Santos showed us, we have lots of problems with how the world operates now, and only by bringing other people to the table, only by applying these techniques in different ways, we are able to generate ideas that can solve these problems. As a generation of young designers, we have the challenge to bring this fast-paced and this user-centered point of view, but in a way that is part of our daily environment. We don't have to work night shifts to do this. We do this.
I agree on the basis of really amplifying qualities of shared values in the local community, which seems to be what you're doing, especially with, you know, the design sprint. Oh, sorry, am I not phrasing it right there? Design sprint technique, yeah. And
Yes.
you're taking it to the client base or to the client directly, and then working with them on a solution.
To the clients, the ones who buy our work, you say?
Yes, exactly.
The ones that don't work like this tend to get more static in the market. They don't bring too much change. They don't bring enough empathy with their users. They don't build new ideas and solutions as fast as this approach is able to deliver.
Yeah, so it's even more important to get that across to those people.
Yeah, so it's a more like a traditional leaders and early adopters theme. I think that there are clients that are early adopters, and there are clients that are followers. There are clients that will buy into, yes, I'm going to the environment of my users. I'm going there. I want a user designing my app with my design team. I want to pay you guys to spend a week inside the user's house and studying how they live. And there are clients that don't have this ability right now. The ones that don't will start to see the innovation brought by those that do. And that is happening right now. We are seeing this happening in our new business meetings. We see that happening when we work with, when we go to the bar and meet with other designers and other people from other companies that work in the same area that we do. And we see that there is this early adopters movement of clients that buy into design, buy into user research, buy into fast-paced innovation to bring more change, to bring more transformation.
Right. That is extremely insightful. I would love to hear more about this. Unfortunately, we do have to wrap up.
Okay.
But again, this is just the start of a conversation now, and I hope that the platform and the way that we keep the video on demand for the next few weeks, the audience can also engage in more questions, more comments. You obviously promoted this on your channels and your site as well, and it's on Facebook. I've seen that. I've seen the website. I think I've learned a lot about Brazil today. There's another session about Brazil, actually, that started 15 minutes ago. So whoever is interested, keep on watching that one, or hopefully not have dropped out yet. I think, yeah, bringing people to the table, supporting development on a local solutions scale, and being diverse in your client base is the key takeaway I would give to the audience. And really thank you both for taking the time and the setup, and hope to see you again within the DIF next year.
Thank you very much. I hope you
keep the conversation up. And also the video, I thought that was really, really great to see the office and how you work, because I was about to even ask you to just show us around with the camera, but this is a much better version. So thanks for that. And thanks to the audience.
It's a little mess, but I think we can do this.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Oh, you did it. All right.
A little mess.
Wonderful. Okay. Now it's okay. Yeah, that works actually. Good to know. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.